Professor Kanagasingam, I must tell you that of all the universities that we've been interacting, you were the only male vice chancellor that we interacted with.
Okay, thank you.
So much for gender equality. Um, and yeah, I think. Gender equality.
We have another 2 minutes to go. I think if we can request our guests to please switch on their cameras. Professor.
The speakers, yeah.
Yeah, speakers.
She's just putting it on. She's putting it on.
Yeah.
Just for the speakers, rest can keep your cameras
Yes.
off and on as per your convenience.
I'm not allowed to switch on my camera. I don't know why. Yeah.
Maybe
Please allow.
it may be on your settings, ma'am.
Yes, we don't have any settings that restrict. Ma'am, please check your personal settings on Zoom.
Yes.
Professor
There you go.
Kanagasingam, may I request you to please switch on your camera?
Yes. So let's begin. I'll put it across to Mr. Sanjay to begin, and then.
Well, esteemed Vice Chancellors, Professor Poonam Tandon from Deen Dayal Upadhyaya University, Gorakhpur, Professor Zita from Quest International University, Malaysia, Professor Kanagasingam from Eastern University, Sri Lanka. I welcome you all, along with our founder, Amrish Chandra, my colleague, Sonali Simwal, who's the editor of our in-house magazine, Mosaic, as well as a very celebrated podcaster at the Voice of Mosaic. Mr. Chandra has been recently announced as the SDG Man of India. And this team welcomes you all today, which happens to be the International Day for Tolerance. We decided to have this inaugural meet of Vice Chancellors Global Green Council on this day to celebrate International Day for Tolerance with this education community. And also there's thousands of students who have joined us on YouTube, because tolerance today is not merely a buzzword, it's the call of our times. It is also enshrined in goal number 16 of the United Nations. And therefore, it's a very, very important subject to be discussed, to be deliberated, and to find some resolutions around this. So friends, I will now invite our founder, Amrish Chandra, to set the ball rolling and share his vision for Vice Chancellor's Global Green Council, which is an international platform for Vice Chancellors of various reputed universities to join in and work towards the SDG 4, which is also enshrined in the United Nations SDG objectives. Thank you very much. Welcome all. And our now invite our founder, Mr. Amrish Chandra, the SDG Man of India.
So thank you very much, and a very good afternoon to all of you, and a good morning to all of you from whichever time zone that you've joined. It is really, really interesting that and that we all have agreed to connect on an important day like the Day of Tolerance. And before I even begin to talk to you about what this Global Council is, which is the Vice Chancellor's Green Global Council, I must mention here that this all began when quite a few of us connected in the international higher education ranking in Thailand. And it was my great pleasure at that point of time to have met Professor Poonam Tandon. Before that, impressed her upon the idea of the representation of the Gorakhpur DD University at the Thailand conference, and we signed an MOU in making the DD University as the first SDG-aware university, where the House of Mosaic was going to work with her in partnership. And then while we were in Thailand, though briefly, I remember Professor Zita coming up and appreciating our keynote address, connecting with us, and thereafter, having been in Connect, discussed what she could do, what she could bring to the table from a university forum of Malaysia, which is the Quest University. And of course, I have to place on record my sincere thanks to Professor Kanagasingam from the University of Sri Lanka, who was so willing to come up, understand the objectives, and be a partner with this. Before I begin, I would like to place on record the apologies that we received from Dr. Victoria Gallen, who represents UNESCO and the Higher Education First Officer for Higher Education Strategy and Analysis, who has had a medical emergency and which has restricted her to the hospital. She has promised to join as and when she can. But if that's not the case, then of course, we have a good word and the UNESCO Higher Education Department support to the VCGGC Council. This is something I must put. Very quickly, without taking time, this Global Green Council basically talks about the basic agenda is nurturing abundance, which means that the universities have abundance of their campus and the abundance of the students that they have, both of which are untapped in spreading the knowledge, awareness, consciousness, and therefore compliance of the Sustainable Development Goals. And therefore, we are not a compliance agency, but we're an agency that works in creating the awareness. In a sampling manner, here in our campus in Gorakhpur, we have been able to create how a campus and all its paraphernalia can carry an awareness between the parent community, student community, and teaching community on the Sustainable Development Goals. So the VCGC was put together to create a platform of international universities that have the highest office of Vice Chancellor or a representative decided by the Vice Chancellor to represent on the forum and carry a green agenda of how to utilize, as a punchline says, nurturing abundance, how to utilize the abundance that the university has, the eyeballs that the university has, the footfall that the university has in propelling the SDG awareness. This is the core objective. It happens that on a blessed day, like a day of tolerance, that we have all agreed to do the first inaugural online meet for the VCGC. But there are many more to come continuously, where we will be propelling and talking about creating awareness through the nurturing of our abundance. And this is the first of them all. The VCGC is a membership that comes by a shared application to our board, and we accept the VCGC specifically with universities that are working towards sustainability. And this is our main objective. And once that is done, we propose to have at least 2 meetings in person, but throughout the year, we'll have various opportunities and a calendar to be shared where we'll be having online meetings. So that is all from VCGC and what this is about. And as we take this forward, today, in view of the absence of Dr. Victoria Gallen, our conversations will revolve around the presentation that has been put together so beautifully by Professor Zita, the Vice Chancellor of Quest University, Malaysia. But before we go there, as the host university of the city of Gorakhpur, and my brief conversations this morning with Professor Poonam Tandon, who's very, very eager to host such conferences on campus. And the Gorup University, and ma'am may correct me, I think the Gorup University, other than its parent university, has 250 affiliated colleges. So I will first bring our attention to the address of Professor Poonam Tandon, the Vice Chancellor of DDU Gorakhpur University, to share her thoughts on tolerance and what the university is, and her willingness to participate on this forum. Professor Poonam Tandon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Avnish, for this very nice initiative and connecting us together on this platform. So very, very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, and depending on the time zone where you are. And first of all, I welcome you all on this platform of VCGC, the Green Council. And I think this platform will take us further in abiding the SDG goal. And our official partner, Mosaic is our official partner. We have already signed an MOU, and we are creating awareness among students, among faculty members in the city. And now we want to create awareness in the entire world regarding the SDG goals. So briefly, I would like to talk about our university in Gorakhpur. If I talk about the Gorakhpur, it is located in the Uttar Pradesh, state of Uttar Pradesh, and the city is very, very cultural city, and it has many cultural heritages. And our campus is 191-acre campus in the heart of city. It is very green campus, and Gorakhpur city itself is surrounded by forest. We have Kusmi forest and several other forest area. It is very green, very green area, and we have about 16,000 students in our campus and 350 associated colleges from Devariya and Kushinagar, which are the connecting the neighboring district. So total we have 350 colleges, and we have more than 2,70,000 students, combining the students of the colleges. So it is a big network, and we have almost all faculties like Faculty of Arts, Faculty of Science, Faculty of Engineering, Faculty of Agriculture, and Faculty of Law, Faculty of Education, and we are running some traditional courses together with skill like job-oriented courses there. And I am happy to share some facts about our university. The Accreditation Council of India. We from this council we have that is NAC, and have the highest grade in India among state university. And if we talk about the all institutions, we are at number 4 in our country. Then we are the part of QS World Asia ranking. Recently, we are rated with QS Asia, and we have good ranking with Shimago, Webometrics, and we appear in almost all international ranking, and we are trying to improve it further. And the SDG is nowadays very, very important as far as ranking is concerned, and we are moving towards academic excellence. And yesterday, we got the place in Nature Index ranking. It is the only state university which has a place in Nature Index ranking. That shows our commitment towards academic excellence. And in the last 6 months, we have filed more than 30 patents, and we are in the process of filing 50 more. So we are trying to for new innovations and also convert our research into for the benefit of society. And since it is our first meeting and it is the International Day of Tolerance, and we look for more inclusive approach in our university. We welcome students from all parts of country. We have good number of students from Nepal, which is on our border, not very far from Gorakhpur. And we would like to we invite all the vice chancellors and the representative of different universities, and especially the universities which are around us. I propose a vice chancellor's conclave. We would be happy to host a vice chancellor conclave in our university, in which we can have a physical meeting with all of you together, and that can bring out some fruitful collaborations, and we can do something more on the idea of green, further move in this idea of SDG and the Green Council. And I invite you to our university, and it is a nice city and a big campus. And we look forward for the exchange of our students with your universities, and we look forward for tuning program, joint degree program, and dual degree programs also with our university. So once again, I welcome all of you, and once again, I thank Mr. Chandra for this, who is the SDG man behind us, and he is supporting us in SDG awareness. And I'm very much thankful to all of you, and especially to the Mr. Chandra for this initiative. And thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very for your kind words. And you've said a few very important things, and I'll highlight it. I mean, it is really, really interesting to know that the student network under your university is 270,000 students, which is a huge number. And if we talk about nurturing abundance, what an impact would it be if we are only able to tell these 270,000 students what SDGs are and what the 17 goals are. This is where it will begin. So a huge number. I must correct myself. I said 250. 350 is your associate colleges, which is amazing. You said a few keywords, and I'll just put this, and if my colleague Sonali can help just note it down. Inclusive education is the word you used. Absolutely, tolerance would refer to any education being inclusive, without any boundaries, without any geographical boundaries, any spiritual boundaries, any financial boundaries. Inclusive education is what you bring about. Absolutely appreciate your invitation, and we will share it with the entire portfolio of a Vice Chancellor's Conclave to be done with DDU University Gurpur as its host on an appropriate day where all the calendars match, to celebrate a green agenda, in furthering the green agenda. And you said fruitful collaboration towards exchange of students and exchange of programs. Absolutely nothing, absolutely better than universities collaborating together and bringing the student body together inclusively, fruitfully, with a green agenda. Thank you very much, ma'am. I'm going to take my attention now to our dear Professor Kanagasingam from Sri Lanka, for him to share his views before we go towards the master address from Professor Zita of Quest University, Malaysia. So Professor Kanagasingam from Eastern University, Sri Lanka. Professor.
Yes, very good evening to all. I hope all of the countries are situated in the South Asian zone. So this is the right time to appreciate Professor Amish Andrew. He's a person is behind this a very important day in the world is celebrating International Day for Tolerance. So I'm very happy to be one of the speakers for this very important day, and more happy to share my best practices from Sri Lankan side. I know this South Asian country, especially located in the South Asia. We are having a different multi-ethnic cultural societies. So Sri Lanka is not differentiate from other countries. Sri Lanka also, we are the country having a multicultural societies, multi-ethnic groups, multi-political interested party. So through this country, the Eastern University located in Batiklo is called eastern part of the country, in the coastal belt of Batiklo. You know, the Sri Lanka is an island, is a very green and clean island. So our university is located in Batiklo town and Trincomalee town. We have two major locations. Altogether, we have 10 faculties, around 7,000 students. All students are undergraduate students from the allocated by the University Grant Commission. So especially this forum give a space for us to give us some important message from our Sri Lankan experience since the UNESCO International Day for Tolerance, remembering our strength, particularly the diversity, to build the world prospectively, to accepting every individual. So sharing with my leadership team at this forum, I would say this is a very important title, especially we should be able to expand this thematic area to celebrate and mark this tolerance, because tolerance is a very important ability to accept and respect the differences in their opinions and beliefs or their behaviors of other people. So we have a different opinions, different from one on another. So I believe the ability to work with the people, when we are working with the people, we have to work and live together in a harmony, especially accepting the tolerance through the understanding, open and respectful diversity of ideas and cultures and religions and way of life. I went through one of our very important book on author. Sometimes you have heard about Tirukkural. This is translated in more than 30 languages. This is originated from Tamil Nadu. Thiruvalluvar. He created 1,333 Tirukkurals, in which 151, it's clearly stated, not now, 2000 ago, as earth wears up the man who devolved into her breast, to bear with the scornful men of virtues is the best. I am reading again, as earth bears up the men who delve into her breast, to bear with scornful men of virtues is the best. The meaning is that, like a earth, we are living in the earth, that tolerate the decays, and tolerating the insult of others is the ground of all qualities. This means tolerance is unavoidable. When we are living in the earth, we should accept others' view and understanding and respecting and learning from one another. So the Tolerance Day will give a space for us to promote world where tolerance regime is supreme. So I believe when we are living with the people, the tolerance is unavoidable, especially the universities. We are working with a number of stakeholders, those who are living with us, maybe the co-workers, co-staff. Some are from our direct beneficiaries or internal stakeholders, maybe students, the academic staff, and some other agencies. So outside people, external agencies, maybe external stakeholders. Those people are keeping some expectation with us. So when we are fulfilling the expectation, so we want to have some tolerance. When we speaking, tolerance is not an easy way, but when we feeling and living with the tolerance, this is a very important one. So tolerance means to allow or permit or recognize and respect others' beliefs and practices without sharing them, to bear or put up the someone or something not necessarily like per dictionary. That means every individual have a like and dislike. So when we are working with the individuals, we need to have some understanding or mutual understanding among us. Therefore, the tolerance should be something unpleasant, sometimes harmful to the manager or the organizer or the leader. So we should develop the ability to adjust, especially to experiencing these symptoms. From my experience, I'm an academic administrator at the Eastern University, Sri Lanka. more than 15 years, 15. And teacher as an academia, more than 30 years. So we are working with a different people. Since my professional is a professor in human resource management, so the human is a main aspect. The organization is built by the people, human. Therefore, there are different positive and negative attitudes of the people reflect in our decision making, in our day-to-day lives. Therefore, we should respect and learn and accept the tolerance. I don't like to take your more time. I think you have given only 10 minutes time. Sri Lanka could be the best example to share the tolerance. You know, this Batiklo is located in a city is called 3 ethnic communities are living together. The Eastern University have a all multidisciplinary students. So every students, when they are living in a hostel, when they are living in the canteen, when they are living in a classrooms, they have a different culture, different expectation, different beliefs and attitudes. So we should manage everything. So I adopted some practices I would like to share with you. I always maintaining empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feeling of others. I used to be a person perspective. The students are asking or expecting something. So I used to go their side. And from their perspective, I looking the problems. This is very better way to understand their thoughts and their emotion and leading to greater acceptance of tolerance. That is the best and most important strategies I am adopting. And also I try to educate myself. I used to ignore intolerance. You know, life is connected with the every days, every minutes. Working with the different people. People are coming from different backgrounds, different beliefs. So we should educate them. They should understand about others. Therefore, reading some books and watching some documents, creating some conversations with the people from diverse background to gain a broad understanding. I would be a good listener. That is could be the one character. So Kova coming to my office when I was a dean of the faculty, when I was a rector of the campus, currently I am a vice chancellor of the university. Kova coming to my office, once they return, they will go back with the happiest mood. So I take my time, actively listen when others express and their thoughts and experiences. I try to avoid interrupting or jumping to conclusion, a respectful listening and foster open communication and promote tolerance. Especially the meetings and the board meetings, I used to give a space to all the audience, all the participants to share their own experiences. Sometimes we have to challenge some stereotype people, so they will preconceive some ideas about certain thoughts and ideas and the decision making. So I humbly and limit my ability to be a tolerance. Sometimes I seek some additional information to counter these biases. I encourage the people to create the spaces, the dialogue, the open space, give a constructive dialogue with the individual who have a different perspective and in an effective way to foster their tolerance. Especially, I approach them and giving open mind and willing to learn from them, sometimes giving some interesting phrase experience share with them. Therefore, the tolerance is a skill. The manager should be developed and improve over time. This is very difficult. Anyhow, it is essential to promote an atmosphere in respect of understanding and acceptance to build a more inclusive and harmonious world. Therefore, to create the tolerance in our world, we should develop our personality, try our best to understand and listen them, accept their uniqueness. Sometimes some people are having certain unique features, so we respect them. Sometimes our silent or controlling our emotion will create the good leader. Definitely that will, we accepted the tolerance. Therefore, the tolerance is make society more peaceful. The leaders should be the examples for accepting tolerance or managing tolerance. Without this, very difficult to develop the society. This is because the people are a mixture of different attitudes, different interests. Sometimes the co-employees, some the co-staff, the peer staff can come with a conflict. So we cannot ending the conflict, but we can manage the conflict. Therefore, tolerance, it could be manageable weapons. It will be strength for the organization, especially leader, to manage the organization, especially the country like Sri Lanka, India, Nepal, or Pakistan, or Bangladesh, or some South Asian countries. We are living with a different people, different attitudes, different expectation, which came from different beliefs, different thoughts, different philosophy. So we should understand them. We should recognize them. We have to work with them. This is my simple examples, simple exercise I practice as academic administrative leader in Sri Lanka, one of the state university, leading university in the country. Thank you very much. Thank you for all participants and co-speakers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Kanasingam. Really amazing to hear what East University of Sri Lanka is doing with a body as strong as 7,000 students and 10 faculties. Just to take a few quick points from what you said, I completely agree with you that it's important to expand the thematic area of tolerance, as you rightly said, into people's beliefs and way of life. And I would connect that to what you said in the last, that leaders should set the examples. So if we need to expand the thematic area of tolerance into people's lives and way of life, a vice chancellor and his office become those leaders that need to set it. So beautiful to know that the place that your university is brings together 3 ethnic communities, and therefore you really are promoting tolerance and setting up a good example. Your beautiful example of Earth and what you read puts a point, and I think it's a very important point that I will take from here, is tolerance is unavoidable. Absolutely beautifully said. Thank you very much for your views. And when we go to the last part, we put all the key points that the Vice Chancellor is making in one, so that we have the green paper, as we said, coming out of it. So on the note of tolerance is unavoidable, as mentioned by Professor Kanasingam, and leaders need to set an example. I would now request our dear Vice Chancellor, Professor Zita from the Quest University, Malaysia, to finish this discourse with a master presentation before we conclude and set the green paper in accord. Professor Zita.
I'm putting up a presentation now.
Sure. I think you're on a mute, Professor.
All right, let me start again. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Amrish Chandra, founder of Mosaic and the Vice Chancellor, Global Green Council, esteemed vice chancellors who are, have shared their views this afternoon, and all who is listening in or looking at the presentation today. I actually have taken the liberty or time off to look at the topic differently. Perhaps mine is a broad approach going beyond what the university is doing. Seriously, you caught me when you were talking about Tolerance International Day. So I just want to wish everybody happy Tolerance International Day today. Something that's new in terms of celebrating a day, but I would say that my presentation will show that I suppose we take issue of tolerance as a matter of course in our daily life. And I currently work with a small private university, extremely small compared to what you all are, have been talking about your universities. Very young. We were, we started in 2011 only, but we felt that we have embraced SDG goal in many ways. So let me just share with you. It's an overview of tolerance issue or principles or practices in Malaysia as a whole. I just spend a bit more on what the university is doing when I reach that slide. Mrs. Sanjay, can we continue?
Yes.
All right. I mean, if we talk about the diversity in Malaysia, I think perhaps Malaysia has the most issue on diversity. If you look at the diagram there, we have multiple religion, multiple culture, race, ethnics, and so on. But we also have a tagline when we say that there is always unity in diversity. Yeah, so I just want to highlight what are the bridges that have been built as to promote tolerance, and I'll touch a bit more when we come to the one slide on the university itself. Background, when we talk about tolerance in Malaysia, I think there's a lot of policies and strategies to improve tolerance. And I'm not going to go into the definition of tolerance. I think we have heard just now from the esteemed Prof about how he defines tolerance. I think the boundary of tolerance is up to the point of being being discrimination, causing discrimination to others. So there's so many strategies, provision, affirmative action, principles of the nation that actually guides our daily life. And issue of tolerance is extremely important for us, even up to the point we have a Ministry for Unity and we look at all the other various provisions, yeah. How do we create a very harmonious society in Malaysia? Next, please. All right, next, please. All right, I come back to this point again, and as Malaysians, we have been ingrained, and we have always talked about our diversity in our country, and we always felt that despite the diversity, there's always a unity, harmony, and strength. And one of the areas that we've been pushing is tolerance by embracing diversity, and we're very colorful. If you look at the pictures there, we actually do it right from the young age up to the point of them going into career at the community level as well. Because I think the tolerance have to start when the kids are young. They should not be looking at differences when they were at a young age. I think that's how we build the tolerance issue. All right, next slide, please. All right, let me just touch a bit more on this, yeah. Within the education sector, from primary school right up to the university, I think we have incorporated issue of the existence of multicultural situation, the need for interfaith understanding, social inclusion, and how we celebrate these differences together. And at the university, let me spend a little bit time on the university because how we translate all this work in the university. At the university, the SDG goals itself is incorporated into our programs, into our curriculums, incorporated into the student activities, the core curriculum, as well as how they engage with the society. The spirit of voluntarism is very important. Values of compassion, empathy, like what Prof said just now, is extremely important for us when we work together, because it's a private university where we gather all different races studying together. So we need to be able to live with each other in harmony. And the university, besides the curriculum itself, has to incorporate the SDG goals, including issue of harmony, tolerance, and so on. We also look at the activities involved. In fact, at the higher level, the Malaysian Qualifications Framework recently announced that we must include the values of the SDG within our learning outcomes. And one of them includes working together, living in harmony, besides all the other SDG goals. So we have a broad framework that requires all universities to address this. And I would say that the level of commitment of the university even goes out, because our parent company has a foundation called Rhythm Foundation, which is very much involved in SDG goals, in building societies, empowering people, dealing with different races, and so on. So we very much in line, and I think we embrace very seriously issue of compassion, tolerance, and unity within the university and all the activities. So we need to also engage with our stakeholders outside there within the state of Perak, because we have different groups outside there where we need to be able to work with, engage with them, empower them. I think that's basically the role of the university where I am currently working with. All right, but that's the kind of work that we do, because in the university itself, we actually celebrate each other's differences, and we have so many activities, so many festivals in the universities. We celebrate everybody's main celebration, like whether it's Christmas, Deepavali, or the Chinese New Year, and so on. It's something that we all gather together, and we all have our students working with the staff in different, for example, religious sectors, for example, to help them to address that. We may be different, we may have different race, but we work together. That's what has been entrenched within the university and the staff in Quest International University. And I find that it's very engaging, very empowering to make everybody commit to this kind of situation. Next slide, please. All right. At the other level, because we are governed or kind of regulated or influenced by many of the national and community initiatives. So at the higher level, there are so many community dialogues to understand the level of differences, to build up tolerancy. And if you see at all these pictures, we actually have do it at the highest level, and we go down right to the university to be able to incorporate all these values in our activities, in our sports, our festive holidays, and so on. And these are pictures that shows how at the national level we build bridges between the different races and the differences in culture and religion and so on. And at the bottom is what we do with the other groups. These are our staff who engage with people outside there who needs help, regardless of race, language, or religion, and so on. And this involves our students as well. So by incorporating them in all our activities, I think we hope that we would have already built that high level of sense of harmony, sense of responsibility, and sense of tolerancy among our staff and the community. Next, please. All right. Now, the other thing that at the higher level, and including the media that we use within the university, we felt that to increase understanding and level of tolerancy, level of building harmony among people, we want to give positive information to our people and to our students. And at this level, we felt that The media, whether they capture what the university is doing, because social media is very important. The university actually have a social media portal where it shows all the activities of the student that involves the public, that involve different races, that involve different activities, and so on. And to understand that level of differences and the level of responses that we see in the community, which influences our students and our people. The picture on the right, the lady is wearing a white piece of clothes. I think it's a white shirt. During COVID time, everybody needs help, everybody needs food. And by waving that clothes, people who are around the area who can come and support them will actually send food to them regardless of where these communities come from. Again, tolerancy and responsibility is reflected in the attitude of the communities, which influences our students who are going on food drive. They've had the same empathy for all the community people who were suffering during that time. And the other one is, again, we have positive news that celebrates tolerancy, that shows inter-community issues can be dealt with very well, regardless of color, skin, religion, and so on. And again, media must have a role to play, including our social media in the university. It must reflect the kind of attitude we want to mold in our students and in our staff. And the picture shows this guy giving a bag. He's a Chinese man. He helps so many families, regardless of their background. We want students to be able to embrace this kind of attitude. It doesn't matter who you are. All right. And then, of course, we have lots of regulations on media literacy and so on that questions issue of wrong, fake news and so on, because as you know, social media is so powerful nowadays that we have to be very careful that we don't create unnecessary issues by having by not understanding that if some information are wrong, fake, and so on, because that can affect, I think, the social harmony of any community for that matter. All right, so we teach the students the same thing too, because we have community communication programs and so on. How social positive responsible media is very important. They do a lot of social media work, and we felt that whatever message we give and whatever message the students give must reflect that they understand the differences, and yet that we all can work together effectively for the community. All right, next slide, please. All right. Within the university itself, let me bring this on down in the university itself, because tolerance cannot be just words. Tolerance requires action, and there's always issue of whether tolerance hit the extreme end of intolerance, whether there's issue of equality and rights and opportunities and so on. And this is an ongoing action for many instances. In the campus itself, we teach, we have very strong policies in place that looks into issue of inclusivity, accessibility, and equity, because we are very strong in terms of looking at how the welfare of the staff are, how they interact, how we all work together and live together and understand each other's culture. Issue of other things like anti-harassment, discrimination is something which the university have very strong policies and look at it very closely to make sure that the university itself practice very harmonious working environment. Right, so I'm looking at the bigger picture and then bringing down how the university handles it, because the HR would be very important, looking at issues between staff. And then you have the student life department that also addresses issue of harmonious living, understanding each other's culture, even between local students and foreign students. Because we do have a sizable number of foreign students on our campus, and we want them to integrate within our environment and our community and feel themselves as part of us within the university. Next slide, please. All right, I'm sorry, I just add in at the last minute actually, because to see, I mean, at the highest level, how many is being a very important item for the people, and harmony charter has been developed to show that it's a medium for unity and harmony for Malaysian. The seriousness how we look at issue of tolerancy and harmony within the society and within the SDG goals. And so on. I think in many cases we hardly talk about SDG goals on this. We just think these are developed as we go along, because historically we come from a very mixed, multiracial society with different historical backgrounds at some point. All right. How do we bring everybody together, including the students? Next slide, please. Now, celebrating shared values at the highest level, at the national level. People must understand the national principles, what they call principles of Rukun Negara, which there are 5 there, because that guides in our daily life from the highest level to the institutions and the schools at the same time. And because we are so diverse, we need to create those common values, create the common respect, compassion for the community. And we do it through different mechanisms to bring us all together. So having common values, common areas to share breaks down the barrier between different people. All right. Of course, there are communal activities within the campus as well and outside the campus. And I think our students, if you join us, we'll be very happy to celebrate the last Deepavali or the other religious celebration, and bring everybody together. We actually make it an open function, because we felt that if you understand each other's food, each other's culture, each other's belief, I think we can have a higher level of tolerance and better unity among us. All right. Now, my concluding remark, as I said, if I go down to the university, there are many practices, activities which have put in place to make sure there's no issue of intolerance, that if there are any issue, there's something that we will deal with. We have a student council that reacts with the community as well, with the students community as well, with the staff as well, to look at how activities can be created to create a more communal, harmonious environment that makes university life experiential, of high value to each one of them, so that when they go out to the world outside, they will reflect that well there are differences outside there, but we understand. All right. And in a very interconnected world today, Mr. Amrish, as you know how I met you in Bangkok, what struck me was there's a need for us to be more connected, for the young people to be connected, because they are our champions of tomorrow. They are the one that's going to inherit what we are doing, and with them being mobile and so on, I think they can actually make those changes. So we need to be connected and address the global challenges outside there. I would say that tolerance is not just one standalone action. It's an active action. It needs to be continuously, I would say, addressed, build, enhance, because I think if you continuously build up that level of tolerance, that level of relationship, I think everybody in the university will feel valued, everybody in the community will feel valued, accepted, respected, and also we become responsible people. So for us in the university, it's a continuous engagement, because we get different students every year coming from different states, from different races in the university. And we felt that the continuous engagement to all our activities may create that commitment for us. Again, education becomes very important, because we need to share the different historical background we go through, different culture we have. Education becomes, I would say, very instrumental to ensure that we have that level of tolerance that we need for the society to build on. But I would say at the end of the day, what the university is doing has got to be continued, enhanced. But at the community level, communal level, there are still many challenges ahead that we need to face and we need to address as we go along. So let me end my remarks here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Zita. Indeed, we really need to have sometimes a broader outlook. So while we've had two very good perspectives from a university level, it is also good to know from the national perspective as to how the broader zone is bringing it. So in highlighting what Professor Zita said, as I've done for the other two vice chancellors, what comes striking to me, of course, is the foundation, as you said, of tolerance is diversity. Completely agree with you there. But to begin with, I think it's important that we begin, as we have so many days, we wish each other, we greet each other. It is important to get into a practice of celebrating Tolerance Day by actually beginning to say Happy Tolerance Day. It comes every year, and I think we need to get across in congratulating, celebrating, wishing, and greeting each other by saying Happy Tolerance. So thank you very much for raising the flag on that. The other key word that I picked up was mutual understanding. Absolutely, whether it's an intercurricular understanding or it is beliefs or way of life, as Professor Kanagasingam said, or inclusive education, as Professor Poonam said, mutual understanding is very, very important. To that, you said, celebrating each other's differences. How beautiful. Differences, and to celebrate differences is the key for this. Be it political, be it social, be it financial, it is absolutely so well said. And as you said, Christmas, Diwali, and Chinese New Year, and many more that you celebrate. That way, we're very lucky that all the universities that have participated, even the DD University, through its 350 affiliate colleges, draws students from every strata of society and belief and system. So it's very good that with this, with your university and with Professor Kanagasingam and three communities coming there, we have multi-diverse universities on the forum with us on an important day like this. Tolerance needs action. Absolutely. Tolerance needs action, and we need to do that through inclusivity and accessibility. The two other words that I took from you is, of course, continuous engagement. And that is the note that I know that all of us will leave the online forum today is continuous engagement. Unless and until we do continuous engagement that leads into action, tolerance will only be a concept. And it is therefore very, very important to do that. But what I saw from the picture and I take from there is that the fashion world decides the color for every season. Sometimes it's pastels this and pastels that. But I think what you established with that photograph is that the color for all seasons with a reason is white, promoting peace and tolerance, as was shown in the picture. So I think that is the color that we need to celebrate. That is the concept, the thought, the action, and the faith that we need. Thank you very much, Professor Zita, for your very, very engaging presentation. I'm now coming to the last part of this, but before I go into that, with all the 70 plus people that we have online, if there's anybody who has a question to raise to our vice chancellors or to the panel as such, please feel free to unmute yourself and speak up. We can only take one or two questions, but if there's a question on the presentation, if there's a question on what Professor Kanagasingam said, or Professor Poonam said, please feel free to ask. We have, I think, yes, we have a few for. We have 71 people online. Anybody, please feel free to ask if there's anything that you feel that could add to the importance of tolerance in society. It's not just universities, as Professor Zita said. Well, if nothing, then I will just take the aspect to put two things together. One is that there was an offer made to the forum today by Professor Poonam to host an in-person Vice Chancellor's Green Global Council. Ma'am, we will take that request from you formally and circulate it to the Vice Chancellor that are here today and many that have not been able to join, and we lead in that conversation. We also had, ma'am, before you joined, an offer from Professor Kanagasingam for a conference that is being done in his university in Sri Lanka in January. Professor Kanagasingam, if your office can share that invite, with us. We will share it with all the vice chancellors that you see here and many more that have not been able to join because of the calendars.
Amrish,
So that
Professor
is
Kananga
that.
Singham has already shared the invite.
Okay, done.
Yeah, he's
Beautiful.
already shared the invite.
So we will circulate it. In putting it all together, if I have to put the discourse, and a resolution coming from that, I think three things that we can take is inclusive education, as Professor Poonam said. Its tolerance is unavoidable, as Professor Kanagasingam said, and celebrating each other's differences, as what Professor Zita said. These three form the core of what we've discussed as the first essence and three pillars on which we will develop. We will develop a green paper, which we are then going to share with forums and organizations across the world, highlighting these three universities. So, with your due permission, the Vice Chancellors, we are going to develop a green paper on this and share the draft with you. And then once you've given the approval and you seal to it, we will share it with world organizations that celebrate this. I don't know if you know this or not, but there's only one ministry of tolerance in the world, and that ministry is held in UAE. It is the Ministry of Tolerance, which is headed by His Highness Sheikh Al-Nain Mubarak. And we will ensure that the docket created with the three universities is shared with his office and himself. So that is what we propose, and that is what we're going to do into this. Now, my last bit before I pass on the vote of thanks to Ms. Sonali is the idea also of this forum is to further the green agenda, which comes from the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And in doing so, we look at various other forums that we will be celebrating together. But more importantly, we wish to establish a seat or a bursary of sustainability in your universities. So the House of Mosaic will create the resources to create one seat of sustainability in your universities. There is a criteria base, which we shall share with you. But for that, the student has to be following a program in sustainability in your university. So it will be a joint partnership, but that is what we wish to do. And we'll have more to discuss this and on the green agenda and on discussing what we can do by nurturing abundance of the universities. So thank you very much from my side. I know that we have so many people. Thank you all for joining from wherever you've joined. 70 plus people from the staff of St. Paul's as well, and many more that have joined. Thank you very much. And we know that each of us have to follow a green agenda in our life. The first sustainable agent is you yourself. And we have to bring the agenda to consciousness in the impact circle that we can make. Not all of us are sustainable, but at least let's agree to be collectively sustainable. So thank you very much, and over to Sonali to close the session.
Thank you, Mr. Chandra. So I'm here to give the vote of thanks, and I would like to start with Mr. Chandra himself for thinking of this idea. It's an initiative that was conceived a few weeks back, and Mr. Sanjay and Mr. Chandra have worked towards this very starter session for Vice Chancellor's Global Green Council. So I would like to say, I would just like to extend my sincere thanks to the Green panel that we have here. To start with Professor Tandon, and this is another opportunity that we get to hear her insights and then her strategy on actioning the green agenda. Ma'am, thank you very much for extending the invitation to be the host for the first offline Vice Chancellor's meet in your esteemed university. So we get to see up and close your strategy and your approach with the green agenda and the green leadership. I also like to thank Professor Kanagasingam. He also extended his invitation for the team to travel to Sri Lanka a beautiful island and see his university, how we can make an impact and engage with the abundance that he has. Thank you again, Professor, for joining us today, and over to Professor Zita Kwame. Thank you very much, ma'am. Your insights are very empowering and very action-setting for this audience. We would like to arrange for another more insightful, more detailed conversation where we have students and student union also participating. I also like to thank principal of St. Paul's School. St. Paul's School is the first SDG aware school, and I see Mr. Sudarshan Chaudhary. So thank you very much. We have a great audience today of over 70 teachers, SDG team members, and administrators of St. Paul's School. So thank you very much, sir, for making this possible and giving us your time and your teachers' time on a working day. So with this, teachers, administrators, vice chancellors, our founder, sir, Mr. Sanjay Srivastav, our Chief Impact Officer, thank you very much for this first session of the Vice Chancellor's Global Green Council. We are live on YouTube. We'll be sharing the link. The audience can also view. And like Sir has promised, the green paper will be released soon. The insights will be shared across the social media and through the email.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope this is a great opportunity for us to share, especially these developing countries. We should share our own experiences in respect of the Sustainable Development Goals. So we will work together for the same theme. Thank you very much. All are welcome to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is a very potential country, green and clean country. We will see in January 3rd. Those who are interested, please share your link. We will give all the arrangement for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The meeting is now closed.